In the headlines, Anambra Governor Charles Soludo condemns attack on Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, says security agencies on full alert to fish out the perpetrators. Parents lament rising cost of school fees. And on the foreign scene, thousands expected to queue overnight for Queen Elizabeth's line in state. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. Governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Charles Soludo, has condemned in strong terms the attack by yet-to-be-identified gunmen on Senator representing Anambra South Senatorial Zone, Ifeanyi Ubah's convoy Sunday evening. According to a statement by the press secretary to the governor, Christian Aburime, all security agencies are now on full alert to fish out the perpetrators of the heinous attack and will be made to face the full wrath of the law. The governor commiserated with Ubah and families of his aides who lost their lives, as well as the state commissioner of police for the policemen who also lost their lives. In the convoy of Senator Ubah, came under attack at Enugu Uku community in Njikoka local government area of Anambra State on Sunday. Some policemen and aides of the lawmaker representing Anambra South Senatorial District were killed in the incident. A heavily pregnant woman who was abducted from Mando, Kaduna State in July has been delivered of a child in captivity. The victim, who went to visit her ailing mother on the day the bandits struck, was abducted alongside two of her sisters. Commenting on the situation, the victim's husband, Muhammad Alabi, said his wife gave birth at the kidnappers' camp on the 2nd August without medical care, adding that they were being maltreated and flogged by their abductors. Recounting the family's ordeal, father of the victim, Abdul Wahab Yusuf, said the bandits broke into their Mando home around 1:05 a.m. on the day of the attack. The family is appealing to the federal and Kaduna state governments, charity organizations, philanthropists, and well-spirited individuals to assist in securing the release of their loved ones. Department of State Services says outcome of its investigation on Tukur Mamu is mind-boggling. They also warned those making comments it described as unguarded to stop forthwith and await court proceedings. Kaduna-based Islamic cleric Dr. Ahmad Gumi, who accused the DSS of persecution of his media consultant Tukur Mamu. In a statement issued on Sunday, the spokesman of the service, Peter Afunanya, said the DSS should be left alone to carry out its duty. Afunanya, however, said the DSS will not make further comments on Mamu's arrest since the court will determine its course. Afunanya further said the service will not be distracted with some of the skewed narratives in the media space, appealing that it be allowed to concentrate on investigation, the outcome of which, he said, remains mind-boggling. Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, says the federal government has resolved to take the Academic Staff Union of Universities to court because talks between both parties have collapsed. Ngige, in an official letter addressed to the Chief Registrar of National Industrial Court of Nigeria, Abuja, and dated September 8th, asked the court to give accelerated hearing to the case in order to bring the issue of strike to an end. The case is scheduled for mention at 9 a.m. on Monday, and the federal government is asking the court to determine whether the strike by ASUU is legal or not. Also, the government wants the courts to interpret in its entirety the provisions of Section 18 LFN 2004, especially as it applies to the cessation of strike once a trade dispute is apprehended by the Minister of Labour and Employment and conciliation is ongoing. Meanwhile, the federal government has been called upon to fulfill its promise to striking workers to enable students resume their academic activities. The call was made by former Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Edie Farouk, on Trust TV's Sunday Politics. The former NOA boss added that addressing the concerns of ASUU would help ensure that the education sector of the country is not really grounded.
Both sides have a problem as far as I'm concerned. One, the problem of government is that, if government makes a deal, you should keep to it. If you make a promise as government, you must keep to it. But on the side of the ASUU, I recall that in the last general election, they called off strike so that their members can go and conduct election. Or rather, they didn't call off the strike, they suspended the strike so that their members can go and conduct election.
As returning officers.
It doesn't really on whose side, who are they fighting this for? Is it for self or is it for the overall benefit of education? And in any case, 6 months is too long for any right-thinking group. The SDK know that, but they also include their emolument. So if you do the decay and you don't do the emolument, you have not satisfied their, what's it called? I also agree that they should be better paid. But so should every other person be better paid. The soldiers should be better paid. The police should be better paid. The journalists should be better paid. It's something that cuts across all strata of our society.
6 major roads have been cut off as ravaging flood killed 3 people, destroyed 1,400 houses and rendered many people homeless in Zaki local government area of Bauchi State. The floods, which was triggered by torrential rains, also washed away 6 portions of the road linking Zaki and Gamawa local government area of the state. Some victims narrate their experience.
The government should come to the aid of these people. Houses have been submerged by flood, and over 6 communities were also affected. I remember vividly that we helped some Fulani people whose animals were also affected by the flood. The flood killed some people and made so many people homeless. We even visited the families of those that lost their relatives as a result of the flood. We are calling on the government to help these people.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested a Brazilian returnee, Okolie Polinius Mwabweze, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for importing 92 wraps of cocaine, which he ingested and eventually excreted after days under observation in the agency's facility. We have details of some of the agency's activities in the last 1 week.
Also arrested is a 42-year-old man, Aliyu Bello, who was captured at the Malang Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, for attempting to export a consignment of new psychoactive substance, Akuskura, to Saudi Arabia. The indigene of Kwari local government area of Sokoto, who lives in Gorondutse area of Kano, was arrested on Monday, 5th September, during the outward clearance of passengers on Ethiopian airline flight in Riyadh. At the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, no fewer than 1,099,000 tablets of tramadol, 225 milligrams, have been seized through the interagency collaboration between NDLEA and Nigerian Customs. The pharmaceutical opioids, packed in 50 cartons, were imported from Patiskum via Addis Ababa on Ethiopian Airlines. The consignment was concealed among other non-controlled pharmaceuticals. Also, a freight agent, Aliyu Abubakar, was on Friday 9 September arrested at Narco Export shed of the airport over attempt to export a consignment of cannabis concealed inside bottles of Caro White body lotion. Meanwhile, attempts by drug cartels to export 7.805 kilograms of crystal methamphetamine to United States and Australia have been thwarted by NDLEA operative attached to some courier companies in Lagos. The meth consignment were concealed in the linings of local fabrics, wooden statues, printer cartridges, handle of travel bag, and cassava flakes. From other parts of the country, a 25-year-old pregnant woman, Haruna Favor, was arrested in Auchi, Edo State on Friday 9 September with 82 pinches of detamine as well as various quantities of loud, Arizona, Colorado, variants of cannabis, and codeine based on cough syrup. In Gombe, 190,000 tablets of capsules of tramadol, D5 and Exol were recovered from two drug dealers, Nasiru Abubakar, 22, and Umaru Bayero, aka Adiza, when NDLEA operatives raided their stores at the Gombe main market on Tuesday 6 September. In Kogi, a suspect, Paul Ali, 47, was arrested along Okene-Abuja Highway with 1,404 bottles of codeine based on syrup.
In health, the World Health Organization has begun the training of 31 community health workers in Yobe State to help contain the current outbreak of cholera. The coordinator, WHO Yobe State Field Office, Nuhu Barau Ningi, disclosed this to journalists at the opening ceremony of the training in Damaturu. The trainees will serve as ambassadors who will in turn educate the local people on the current outbreak of the cholera disease. The WHO coordinator also noted the logistics will be made available for the trainees to get to every household in the affected communities to give the right information on the prevention, exposure, and the risk of how these diseases are transmitted. This is expected to institute early warning systems and preventive measures for other diseases like monkeypox, COVID-19, measles, and the rest.
To empower the community stakeholders so that they are able to make an informed decision on the prevention of outbreaks. Now that we are already experiencing cholera and a threat to other outbreaks in Yobe State. In fact, that is why they are brought to this place for training. WHO is actually supporting this training, and provisions will be made to them for the logistic, for their movements to reach all the locations, in fact up to the households, so that they will get to the caregivers and all.
You're watching Trust News Update, coming up after the break. Skin decoration that defies modernity. Do stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update. Here's a look at some of our top stories. We told you that Anambra Governor Charles Soludo condemns attack on Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, says security agencies on full alert to fish out the perpetrators. You also heard that parents lament rising cost of school fees. Moving to other stories, some parents in Adamawa State are considering changing schools for their kids due to rising school fees. They're therefore appealing to school administrators, especially private schools, to reduce school fees as new session begins. They made the appeal in an interview with Trust TV's correspondent Salis Lawang in Yola. The report.
Adamawa State Government, through the Ministry of Education, has set Monday, September 19 as the commencement of academic activities for the first time of the 2022-2023 session. The date, which is expected to be a thing of joy as the new academic calendar begins, however, did not have that effect, as many parents are faced with challenge of handling the daily needs of their children while in school, as well as the increase in school fees due to the present economic realities. They said it will not be a bad idea if school administrators consider the present economic challenges and allow parents to pay school fees in installments.
Even to provide necessary things to the children, we are finding it difficult, talk less of school fees. So we are going to find it hard, but it is a necessity for us. We have to look other means to source for the income to pay the school fees.
You talk about school fees resistance. It is a very difficult situation as long as we, the parents, are in charge of our duties of our children. I think things are very difficult. The economy was too bad. Citizens are frustrated in the country.
Adamu Jingi, a school proprietor, says the idea was not about one, but schools must times run at a loss. Explained that in many occasions, students change schools to avoid paying the fees on their former schools.
Yara in ka dogara akan duk wanda bai biya baka kori ɗansa a makaranta. A yanzu haka wani makaranta wasu kira su yara bakwai, wani wuri su 15.
Yes, of course, high fees are the reason. You find some parents changing schools for their children almost every year. But I can assure you it wasn't intentional. The situation is beyond our control. Sometimes that room granted parents to pay school fees of their children instrumentally is violated, leading to schools running at a loss. So we're left with no option rather than blocking it. Teachers who are at the receiving end said they are not finding it easy to catch up with their family needs.
We equally experience such hardship from parents, from school management, from the staff, and everybody. Counting from payment of school fees. We have started the new session, a new term. The students need new uniform, new writing and reading materials. Everything is above our shoulder. We parents and everybody.
You can see a situation whereby students are paying school fees. At times they pay halfway. Sometimes you can find out that they will not pay at all. You have to allow them. Some of them, when there will be time that will come, they tell you they will go, they will change school or they will go somewhere, or you just stop seeing them, just because of the situation. So we are not in a good situation as far as economy of the school and ourselves is concerned.
Stakeholders says a reduction of school fees will go a long way to ease the burden on parents, especially those who have more than 2 children or in the schools. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
Henna, otherwise called Lalle in Hausa, has been a long tradition in Nigeria that defies modernity, especially in northern parts of the country. This age-long tradition, instead of disappearing, only experienced a paradigm shift from the old method of application to an even modern way. Bello Musa reports.
Henna design is an old cultural way women, especially in the north, use to decorate their skin. Some women in Kaduna say application of henna not only makes fashion statement, it is must for big wedding event. Henna is a kind of dye prepared from henna tree, application of which is also called kunshi in Hausa. Women, especially in northern Nigeria, decorate their skin with henna during ceremony like wedding, marriage, or during festivities like Salah, though women love it so much that they apply it for leisure.
Henna is a decoration that women used to do it to beautify their skin during occasion like naming ceremony, wedding, Salah, and any other activities. Some of them are doing it for their husband and some of them for their boyfriends.
However, in the olden days, women apply henna without much design, but as time flies, modern henna comes in different design.
We have different types of henna. Like we have bridal henna, we have casual, we have special casual.
Some women express why they like being decorated with henna.
Well, actually, I love henna decoration because I love fashion and I'm a fashion designer.
I do henna mostly I do it because it looks beautiful, to beautify myself, to beautify my hands and my feet.
How does a woman feel like when she applies henna?
Well, I feel so excited, feeling on top of the world, seeing the design on my skin.
It's eye-catching. So whenever we do it and you see your hands, they look different, they look beautiful. You know, especially from the northern part of Nigeria, we like doing that. It makes us look beautiful, it makes us look unique.
Nowadays, celebrating wedding, naming ceremony or festival like Salah is incomplete without women applying henna on their hands or legs. In those days, women personally apply henna on their skin, but the introduction of modern design, many henna artists like Jamila Mahmood finds it a lucrative business. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The federal government will soon launch a national database portal on the real owners of companies in the petroleum industry, as well as other sectors, towards promoting transparency and to curb illegal financing. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, Oji Ogbonnaya, stated this in an interview with Daily Trust at the weekend. He said the beneficial ownership teaches the citizens how to use the data generated from the portal to ask informed questions or promote public debate and decide how to improve, track transparency and accountability. He said NAT has started a process for the validation for Nigeria, which is done every 3 years with a team from AT headquarters in Oslo, who will arrive in Nigeria to evaluate what the country has done in the last 3 years. And finally, away from Nigeria, hundreds of thousands of people are expected to file past the coffin of Queen Elizabeth II during her lying in state that will start Wednesday evening and continue around the clock until early in the day of the funeral. Tens of thousands have already laid flowers at Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, while crowds gathered in Scotland on Sunday to watch her funeral cortege make its 6-hour journey from Balmoral in the Scottish Highlands to Edinburgh. More are expected to line the city's streets on Monday as the flag-draped coffin is taken to the 12th century St. Giles Cathedral, with members of the royal family, including King Charles III, walking behind. King Charles will mount a 24-hour vigil as the coffin remains at the cathedral to enable people of Scotland pay their last respect. On Tuesday, the Queen's daughter, Princess Anne, will accompany the coffin on a Royal Air Force flight to the British capital before it is driven to Buckingham Palace. Britain's longest reigning monarch, who died aged 96 on September 8th, will be buried in a state funeral attended by leaders from around the world next Monday. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.